And good morning to you all, and welcome to the starting lineup. Great to have you with us on an absolutely beautiful Thursday morning in the Ozarks. Ned Reynolds joined by
Scott Puryear.
And for the next 2 hours, we're right here talking sports and whatever. I'd like to hear from you at 417-447-1021. 447-1021, both the phone and the text, both the same line. Your choice as to what you want to do. Starting lineup brought to you by Play It Again Sports, Fremont Shopping Center. Battlefield in Fremont, Springfield. Open right now, open tomorrow, right through the 4th of July, and some great athletic deals for you at Play It Again Sports. By Citizens Bank of Rogersville with 2 routes. That's what they call their branches, routes. One is adjacent to Highland Springs, and the other is in Rogersville itself. By Swing Right Golf, which is at the lower end of Campbell Avenue, a little bit north of Nixa, and you can you'll pattern your golf swing perfectly at Swing Right Golf. And Marshfield Chevrolet at the I-44 exit, a couple of left turns, and you're right there at Marshfield Chevrolet. Big night of sports past. USA gets a win, and now we have a big day and holiday coming up. What do we have on the agenda?
Well, our lineup today, 7:15, we're going to talk to Ryan Blamey. He's the president of the local American Outlaws chapter. That is the group that gets together and supports and watches USA soccer. They had a big night last night down at Mumbles, 1888. We'll talk to Ryan about the USA win and Monday's upcoming matchup with Belgium. Ryan will join us at 7:15. 7:30, Rob Marsh, the president, executive director of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, going to step in with us in studio, talk about their series of golf tournaments they've got coming up this summer. They lost the Price Cutter Charity Championship, and Rob and his crew have formulated still kind of the same format they had in terms of the tournaments outside the Price Cutter Charity Championship, but really kind of beefing those up and trying to continue to raise money for local charities. 8 o'clock, Ken Schrader, the auto racing legend, will join us. So talk about his career, 71 years old, still going strong, still getting out there on the dirt tracks. And Ned, I know you and Art. Art is back today. Congratulations on him returning safely and joining us today at 8 o'clock. But I know you and Art in particular have covered that for a long time with Ken Schrader.
Kenny's a great guy and so dedicated to his sports. It's really all he does. And I think he races just about every night or whenever it's available.
Yeah, and you want to see somebody get excited. Trenton Berry helps us with a lot of our interview and getting those lined up. And my phone was blowing up last night with T-Bear with anecdotes, about Ken Schrader, and this is what his garage looks like at his place up outside St. Louis, and just on and on and on. And you could tell T-Bear is just excited to talk about Ken Schrader. And of course, big night up at Lucas Oil tonight. I'm going to head up and see T-Bear and take in the festivities. So that's auto racing talk with Ken Schrader at 8. And then at 8:30, Caden Wiest, the former Reed Springs standout, now I believe a junior on Missouri State football, are going to play a big role for their defense as a rush-in type of player. We'll talk to Caden Wiest at 8:30 this morning. So that is our lineup here on the starting lineup.
And it's a very impressive one. I'm anxious to talk to Caden. Last I saw him, which was about 5 or 6 weeks ago, he really physically matured. He's a big, strong kid.
And I saw pictures of him on Facebook, and it looks like, I wouldn't say trimmed down. He's just so lean for a muscle.
Yeah. Muscular.
It is, and a kid that I remember having him on. We did with in high school, and we joked about the fact. I said, "Can you even wear a pair of jeans? Do they make jeans big enough that will fit over those thighs?" And he said it was a challenge back then, but looks really good, and I know he'll be a big part of what Casey Woods and the Bears do this fall.
Indeed. That'll be the case, and, of course, football season isn't very far away.
No. Matter of fact, next Tuesday, Phil Steele will join us. We'll kick off college football talk really early in July to get Phil Steele's thoughts on Mizzou and Arkansas and the Bears and a little bit of everything in that talk.
Now, he has made it a practice to have the magazines delivered on the 4th of July, I think it is when they come in. So we'll give that a test on Saturday to see if the magazines are actually in place.
I've got a good buddy of my son and mine as well, but Alex Slayton, that follows this pretty much on a local level, like a Phil Steele. and has his own rating system and all that. And he literally sits by the mailbox waiting for the Phil Steele magazine to come in the mail to him. He's one of the subscribers, and it's like Christmas when he gets that. But, so looking forward to that next week. Soccer, I accomplished something I'd never done last night.
Kicked a goal, right?
No, I watched a soccer game from start to finish.
Good for you.
I didn't turn away. I didn't go watch baseball. I just stayed with it the entire time, and it was kind of fun. I mean, now I will say this. Soccer is one of those sports in 2026 that lends itself easily to playing on your phone at the same time the soccer match is going on. So I'm looking up this, looking up that, preparing, show notes for today, all while I'm watching the USA, because a large part of it is just passing it back and forth out in the midfield area. But had some big moments last night. USA wins 2-0 over Bosnia and Herzegovina. Let's make sure we get the "and" in there. Kind of not without some controversy. Balogun, the guy who scored the goal for the U.S. right before the first half, gets a red card early in the second half. And again, I'm far from a soccer aficionado, but it looked to me like a BS call for a red card.
Well, the media is certainly labeling it as that, calling it. One has gone so far as to call it a trash referee, which I think is a little strong. But nonetheless, he allegedly stepped on the ankle of another player, and the injury was described as being a red card, which puts him, if I'm not mistaken, completely out of the circumstance coming up on Monday. And the Monday game is with Belgium, as you just mentioned. But a 2-0 win. I didn't see, unlike you, I did not see the whole game. I was watching a little bit of the Cardinals and the Atlanta Braves. But I did see when the penalty kick put the second goal on the line, and it was a high looping kick that just got in the corner. Well, the stars are shining for the USA team. They're playing well.
And they pretty much dominated possession the whole game. It was just a matter of when is one of these going to find the net. But yeah, back to the call, and the one thing you don't want to do is argue with soccer people on Twitter. The one guy that I'm sure follows it religiously said, well, intent doesn't matter. But yet when I read the quotes from the U.S. coach, there is no way that Balogun intended to step on that guy's ankle, because he's moving full speed. He's actually moving left to right in midair and comes down just on the guy's ankle. Yes, was it bad? It was not good. But red card, no. I mean, to me, that seemed like a yellow card, completely on accident, because if he can do all that and time his leap and come down on the guy's ankle to knock him out, he might be the most gifted athlete in the world. And it was just now, I mean, you do play without him now against Belgium. He's a guy that had 3 goals in 3 matches for the U.S., and now you got to have somebody step up in his absence.
Well, how do you judge intent? That's the key right there. And I would think in all of athletics it would be very, very difficult to say that an individual intentionally hurt somebody. In fact, I just can't imagine that happening. So from that standpoint, I don't know what the issuance of a red card means. I guess it's expulsion for the next game because he's not able to play. But how it's defined, I don't know. I don't know what the description is, and evidently it's intentional.
Well, and that official, he blew that, because, I mean, there's just no way he could have said, I'm going to come up and come down on that guy's ankle, and I'm going to do it on purpose. And so anyway, the USA wins. They get the goal in the 82nd minute, as Ed mentioned, on the free kick by Malik Tillman. They go on to the victory. Belgium wins. Belgium was down 2 goals late to Wednesday to Senegal. They score in the 86th minute and rally for a 3-2 win. Game winner comes on a spot kick in the 125th minute, which made it the latest goal in World Cup history, because that would have been extra time or what they call it, extended time. What do they call it? It's
stoppage time.
Stoppage time, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so 125th minute, which means they'd gone on 5 minutes past the regulation, and Belgium wins 3-2. So Belgium and the U.S. on Monday. I believe that's in Seattle. Mm-hmm. And, if you thought last night's ratings, I haven't seen the ratings yet this morning, but I would imagine a lot of USA TVs on a Wednesday night were tuned in to watch that match last night.
Well, yeah, and the games are available. It's right there. You don't have to go through some kind of magic formula to get them. They are right there. That was a huge crowd at Levi Stadium last night, as you knew it would be. And the one at Lumen Stadium, or what they call Seattle Stadium now, will also be raucous. That's where that's where in the match, who was it? Australia? Whomever the match was not USA. But the match there at Lumen Stadium, the crowd registered on the seismograph.
Yeah. Well, and watching, it was kind of cool to see the. I guess they've adopted "Take Me Home, Country Roads" as the USA theme song, and an entire stadium singing it after the win last night was pretty cool to see. But
the late John Denver would be very happy.
Yeah, he would. And so we'll talk to Ryan Blamey about the atmosphere downtown, what they expect on Monday night, and more of that. By the way, that was just the second time in the knockout round in World Cup history, Belgium's 3-2 win, that a team came from 2 goals down to win.
That never happens.
You get up 2-0 on somebody or up 2 on somebody, you're pretty much going to win the match there. And then Belgium is in the round of 16 for the third time in the last 4 tournaments. So it will not be easy. This is kind of where every match gets a little more difficult, or a lot more difficult in some cases. The other game yesterday, England got 2 late goals from Harry Kane, the last one in the 86th minute, and they defeat the Congo 2-1. 3 matches today again: Spain versus Austria at 2 p.m., Portugal versus Croatia at 6, and then late night tonight, Switzerland and Algeria at 10 p.m. The first one of those 3 is out at SoFi Stadium in the LA area. The last 2 are in Toronto for the Portugal and Croatia, and then Vancouver for the Switzerland and Algeria. So if you're looking ahead, if the USA wins Monday, they would get the winner between Portugal and Croatia, that matchup today, and Spain and Austria, that matchup today. So these 2 games today mean a lot to the U.S. in terms of who they will play down the road. Baseball, Cardinals fall 5-1 to the Braves. They get an RBI single from Jordan Walker in the first, and that's it. The rest of the game, Reynolds, Lopez, and the Braves bullpen shut them down. Just 2 hits for the game for the Cardinals last night.
It was a rather meager performance by them. It's a team that had hit very well the night before and has really kind of hit well for the most part this season. Hit a couple of long drives last night. Did have Jordan Walker's mom and dad there, and was not able to physically listen to it, but they're very animated with their support of their son.
And he's from that area, so I would imagine they had a big all the games down there this weekend. He probably had to buy about 40 or 50 tickets.
I'm sure he did.
Friends there, yeah. They finished up the series tonight, 6:15 first pitch right here on 102.1 The One. Dustin May and Hurston Waldrop, the pitching matchup tonight.
Who's Atlanta's pitcher?
Waldrop, Hurston Waldrop.
Oh, Waldrop.
Yeah, he was a young guy that did well for them last year, had been hurt. Rehabbed down in the minors and has come back, and this will be his first start of the season. Kind of came in relief last week. So Cardinals at Cubs starting tomorrow at Wrigley, perfect for the 4th of July weekend. I think that's a marquee game on Fox on Saturday, too.
It's a 7:30 game on Saturday night. It is a 3:15 game tomorrow at Wrigley.
A little toasty probably in Chicago for that one, so... Royals lose 4-0 at home to the Rays. They dropped the first 2 in the series. Junior Caminero can't be stopped right now. 6th consecutive game with a home run. Shane McClanahan, who'd been kind of struggling here lately, he gets straightened out. He holds the KC offense down. The Rays pitch a shutout. Finale at 6:40 tonight. Ian Seymour on the mound for Tampa against Stephen Kolek in that matchup. Springfield Cardinals with a 9-8 win over the Travelers last night in 10 innings in a very wild one. Arkansas scored 4 in the top of the 10th on no hits, 4 walks and 2 hit batters. Springfield answered with 5 runs in the bottom of the 10th and walked it off on a Reniel Rodriguez RBI single. So Jesus Baez, the young shortstop they just called up about a week and a half ago from High A, had 2 homers and drove in 4, scored 3 times to lead Springfield. Springfield 14 hits last night. This is a very good Springfield team we're seeing right now. Got a lot of good young guys.
It's the real Springfield Cardinals. I don't think we saw the vintage in the first half, and certainly not. They finished under 500. But this club has come on. They've got some good young talent in there. The catcher is really playing very well for them. And their pitching staff, while it's a little slow to come around, has been coming around a bit. Beating Arkansas, that should break their tie and give Springfield the lead, I think.
Yeah, Springfield 6-2 now in the second half of the Texas League North standings. 1 game ahead of Tulsa and Arkansas. Tulsa was the first half winner. Northwest Arkansas and Wichita both off to 1-7 starts in the second half. So Big weekend coming up over at Route 66 Stadium. I believe Dan Ryder last week told us tonight is the night where they give away 5,000 hot dogs. Good luck with that. Of course, it is a hot dog eating contest this weekend with Joey Chestnut and all his friends. Tomorrow night is the one. If you don't have plans tomorrow night, head on over to what used to be Hammons Field, Route 66 Stadium, because you've got a matchup for the ages on the mound. Cade Anderson for Arkansas Travelers, Liam Doyle for the Springfield Cardinals. Both of those guys, along with Rodriguez and Arkansas pitcher Ryan Sloan, were named to the Futures Game rosters yesterday. Of course, the Futures Game is a collection of talent at all levels in the minors. They bring him into Philly this year for the All-Star Weekend. The game is on a Saturday this year, but if you go tomorrow night, go Saturday night, you're going to see 4 guys there that you'll see on TV a week later, assuming they're all going to the game. But tomorrow night, Cade Anderson and Liam Doyle. The other pitcher for Arkansas that's really good, Ryan Sloan, will pitch on Saturday. And how do you say, Cincha? Is that how you say the name? That's the two-handed pitches.
Cincha.
Cincha, yeah. Mm-hmm. Cincha and Sloan on Saturday night. So you've got 2 really good matchups there. But, so 4 guys that are going into the Futures Game.
I wonder if Doyle and Anderson pitched against each other in the SEC, Tennessee, LSU.
Oh, I'm sure they did, yeah. Probably because they were both Friday starters for their teams and probably hooked up. And, of course, Doyle was at, Mississippi State or Ole Miss? Which one the year before?
Cincha?
No, Doyle. Doyle
was Ole Miss.
Ole Miss, yeah. And so I'm sure they may have seen each other there, too. But one big NBA trade yesterday reported that Jaylen Brown is going from the Celtics to the Sixers. The Sixers in return are getting an old Paul George. Brown's 29, averaged almost 29 points a game last year. Was rumored to be packaged in a deal for Giannis. That fell apart. Giannis went to Miami, and so the Celtics ship him to the Sixers for Paul George.
Yeah, I'm not sure of this, but I think Jaylen Brown, is a Conzo Martin product.
Played at Cal.
At Cal. Mm-hmm. I think that was Conzo was out there then, I think.
Sure. Lots more to get to later on. Wimbledon, anything exciting yesterday there?
Yes. Novak Djokovic playing Stefanos Tsitsipas. Now, this is puzzling to me because as recently as 3 or 4 years ago, Tsitsipas, who is probably Greece's all-time great tennis player, was number 3 in the world. He's now number 87. What's happened? Is it a physical problem? I don't know. But
age? Is he old?
No. He's a kid. He's 26, 27 years old and a solid physical player who can hit the ball real hard. But Novak, who is going on 39, I believe, took him apart in 3 straight, and it was not even that close. He just toyed with him. And I don't know what's happened to Tsitsipas, but he is not even a shadow of what he had been.
One other note before we go to break and visit with Ryan Blamey on the other side. Keith Pallick III, the Bears standout for this past season, has signed to play with the Knicks Summer League team. So Pallick gets a deal to go try out basically with the defending NBA champions in Summer League play. So we'll see how that goes for him.
Hope he does well, too. Yeah. All right, timeout. Mm-hmm. Do we take a timeout? Timeout on the starting lineup. Back in a second. And it is great to have you with us on this pre-4th of July Thursday. Ed Reynolds along with Scott Puryear. You have the special guest. Fire away.
Special guest on with us has been on with us here in the last 2 or 3 weeks. Ryan Blamey. He's the president of the American Outlaws Springfield chapter, the group that supports, follows, gets together, and roots for the Team USA soccer efforts. And Ryan, probably a pretty big night down at 1888, Mumbles 1888 last night.
It was huge. It was a great meetup, a few hundred people, a little more than that, between inside and outside down at Mumbles. So they shut down the street behind the pub. Eurasia had food and ice cream, and it was packed. It was a lot of fun. The energy was very high. It was electric.
I got a text from a friend that went down, and he said that it was just a lot of fun. And of course, with the U.S. playing Belgium this coming Monday night, those crowds are probably not going to get any smaller, correct?
Yeah, only bigger from here, I think. It's the biggest win we've had in, over 20 years, so in a World Cup. So it was definitely exciting.
Ryan, how many can you have out there at that venue?
Honestly, I don't know what the capacity is, but with them they've got the cage out back, so it's a covered area. They fondly call it the cage because it's chain linked on the sides. We've got a 100-inch screen TV out there for overflow. And they're also clearing a lot for Monday behind Yellow Cab and projecting the match on it as well. So their overflow is pretty strong out there. So you can have a good 500 or more people out there.
Good.
If you had to guess how many were there last night, I saw pictures from the bar itself, and it was wall to wall.
Yeah, I mean, it had to be a good 400 people over the course of the match, 400 people. It was a lot. Yeah. Inside the pub, which is where we were, was absolutely packed wall to wall.
What has this done for membership for the American Outlaws, your chapter, in terms of interest and awareness, I guess, as much as anything?
And the World Cup itself has been a good momentum builder for us, obviously. And we added, I think, 6 people last night, just in the people who were there. So that's fantastic. But it's been great for membership, for people to know about it. And we're really proud of the fact that we're partnering with Ozarks Food Harvest and doing a food drive. Started last night. It was all the way through the end of the World Cup, July 19th. Come by Mumbles. You can drop off canned food and donate. They've got QR codes so you can scan and donate money as well. All of which helps the community that's all kept in the 23 counties in the surrounding area. So,
Ryan, it is a local chapter. It is a national organization. When was it founded, and when was your group founded?
So the national organization was founded in 2007, and yes, it is a national nonprofit organization. Our specific chapter has come and gone over the years, but this iteration of it, I revived it last summer. So this go around was pretty recent, but on and off, it's been going since 2009. So the chapter's, it's been here a long time. It just kind of fell by the wayside until about a year ago.
So let's talk about last night's game, the U.S. with the 3-2 victory. I'm sorry, the 2-0 victory. Got my matches mixed up there. The red card for Balogun in early in the second half. I'm sure there probably wasn't anybody in the bar that agreed with that call.
Yeah, it was crushing. Everybody was furious. I think everybody is still furious. I think I woke up furious this morning, but it's a terrible, terrible call. You slow it down on VAR, and yes, it does look like it was really rough on, the Bosnian player's ankle. However, it was unintentional. Balogun's not looking at him. A yellow card max is what that should have been. Messi had an exact same foul in the Algeria game and didn't even get a foul for it, let alone a card. So it's beyond me. U.S. soccer is appealing it, but I'm sure it won't be overturned.
And I think FIFA said that there is no appeal on it, too.
You're right. Yeah. I saw that they were appealing it, and then it turned out they're not allowing it.
But the red card is an automatic expulsion from the next game?
It is. It's for the rest of that game. So we played man down, 10 versus 11, for 35 minutes last night to close the game out. And then he, unfortunately, the best striker we've had in decades, will not be able to play against Belgium Monday night in the round of 16.
Is it Pepe? Is that who steps in then more than likely that as his backup? And how much of a drop is there, you think, in talent without Balogun on the field?
I mean, in the striker role, it's a drop. Look, Ricardo Pepe's great, and no shade thrown at him, or Haji Wright. They're both great strikers, and they're on par. So it could be either one. But I would say it is a step down significantly from Folarin Balogun, without a doubt.
Ryan, when you break down the USA team, how many of them are playing in leagues around the world during the course of a regular season?
All of them. All of them are playing in leagues around the world, even the bench. But if you mean specifically out of the United States,
yes.
Most of them. There's only, 4 or 5 players who regularly are in the starting lineup who, out of the 26 who really are MLSers. The rest are playing at different European leagues and an MX league. So it's definitely top tier. This is the strongest team the United States has had ever. So it's a lot of talk about the golden generation a couple of World Cups ago, but really, I hate to use that term and put too much pressure, but I mean, this is a strong team.
When they bring these players together from around the world, and they are USA players, excuse me, how long do they have to work together and to work as a team?
It's not nearly as much as you would think. It's usually just a few weeks to try and get things together. Throughout the year, they get to know each other a little bit in different camps, all the way leading up through qualifying, through tournaments, before the World Cup. But for the World Cup itself, they just had a few weeks to really start to get it together. Now, a lot of these guys have been playing for the national team for quite a while, so some of that chemistry builds over time, which is great. And then they face each other in Premier League games and Champion League games. So, there is that as well.
And you could see that, after the game yesterday, the handshakes and the hugs, and a lot of these guys, obviously, it's kind of like when the Olympics in hockey happen.
Absolutely.
They all play NHL against each other. They go to their respective countries, but afterward, they all know each other because of what they do year-round, playing each other there, too. So tell us about what kind of threat Belgium is. They almost get beat by Senegal yesterday. Come back. What's that?
That was a wild game.
Yeah. 3-2 win there. How big of a threat is Belgium to the USA advancing to the quarterfinals?
They're kind of our kryptonite, to be honest, historically, unfortunately. I mean, a lot of people remember the Tim Howard match where he stood on his head and somebody changed his Wikipedia page to Secretary of Defense after the match. He has the most saves in a World Cup match ever, which almost got rivaled this World Cup by another team's keeper. But they've definitely been our kryptonite. However, they're aging. You've still got Lukaku. You've got De Bruyne. You've got great players that play for Belgium. You really do. But they're getting a little bit older. I worry this is going to be the last really big World Cup for them until they rebuild. However, they still have stars. And we saw that yesterday in the Senegal match. I mean, 85 minutes down 2, and they put 2 on the board in no time at all and then came out on top. So I was really kind of rooting Senegal on. We beat them in a friendly not long before this, so I was hoping not to have to face Belgium. But here we are. This is a team that will punish you if you make mistakes.
Well,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
In your opinion, Ryan, who is the team to beat?
I mean, France or Argentina, but I'd say France. France just looks so dangerous. And they're so deep. You could take all the starting players off of France, put all their subs on, and they'd still be a top-tier team that could win the World Cup. It's unreal.
What is the dream matchup out there if you look at the bracket and go down for the USA in terms of where literally the entire nation would be glued to it? And I know as we move closer, it gets more important, more at stake. But is there an opponent that everybody and their brother are going to say, we have to watch that? Who is that out there?
It's tough at this point. I mean, it's going to be that way whoever we play. Yeah. After the round of 16, we're in the quarters if we make it through Belgium, and we should. We should beat Belgium, by the way. The goal was to get to round of 16. I felt it would be a failure if we didn't make it there. Well, we've done that. Belgium is a good team. We should beat them. And then it's going to be anybody we play. I mean, you're really looking at that point, we're really looking at playing Portugal, Croatia, Spain, or Austria. So really we're looking at Portugal, Croatia, or Spain. I don't think Austria is going to make it through that. Any of those teams are going to be an insane matchup. So I think anybody would want to watch that match.
Well, if you don't have plans Monday night to watch it, USA versus Belgium, don't waffle on your plans. See what I did there, Belgium waffle. Yeah. I thought of that good. All the way in on the drive, but it was pretty bad. But no, Monday night ought to be really good at Mumbles 1888. If people want to kind of jump on board and get on the bandwagon with the American Outlaws, where can they find more information? How can they join?
So you can join by going to theamericanoutlaws.com. It'll let you find the local chapter. If you join up there, it's $30 plus shipping per year to join. It is a nonprofit. Obviously, we're working with a food drive with this one, and we'll continue to. So it's helps grow the soccer community, and it also helps the community. So definitely join up.
And if you want to fit in, wear red, white, and blue, right?
Absolutely. And if you're coming out to Mumbles, which you absolutely should, get out early because it is packed fast.
And is that what time is this Monday? Is 7? Is it a 7?
7 p.m.
Okay.
But I would, if you want a chair, I'd be getting there by 5:30.
All right. Ryan, we appreciate it. We'll touch base with you again as we continue to go deeper into the World Cup. And thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me on, Scott. Ned, you guys have a great morning.
You too.
Ryan Blamey from the Ozarks chapter of the American Outlaws visiting with us. Time out. Back shortly. And it is a great pleasure for us to have you with us on the starting lineup, brought to you by Play It Again Sports, by Swing Right Golf, Citizens Bank of Rogersville, and by Marshfield Chevrolet. Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Puryear.
And a special guest.
Yeah, he was going to come in with us this morning, but he's had a little dog issue this morning. Rob Marsh, they say people are chasing their tail. You were actually chasing a different tail this morning, but we have Rob by our streaming link. And Rob, do you want to explain the story there?
Yes, as I went to let my sweet dog that I rescued, that maybe I should just let her have wandered the world like she maybe intended to, but I went out to to get her back inside and head your way, and she had decided to scale the 6-foot privacy fence and have a little freedom this morning. So I had to run her down.
A 6-foot privacy. What kind of a dog
Yes.
is this? High jumping dog.
This is the third time, Ned, that she's done this. She literally, and people have witnessed it, she literally clears the entire fence.
That's a gold medal winner, right?
Yeah, you need to find competitions for that dog instead.
I'm going to strap a Hall of Fame logo on her and have her start fundraising for me and do some other things, apparently.
There you go. Well, Rob
She's going
Marsh,
to become our mascot, I think.
well, if you can keep her around, that would be the key.
Yeah, no kidding.
Rob Marsh is the executive director of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. Wanted to bring Rob on. He's got a series of golf tournaments, most of them coming up here in the next 2-3 weeks. For children's charities, for charities as a whole. Rob, kind of tell us, there had to be a major pivot after the Price Cutter Charity Championship did not return this year. Your pivot was to, hey, let's keep having these golf tournaments, let's beef them up, and let's still raise money. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it is. It is, Scott. And when that decision was made, and if you remember the story, there was a requested schedule change that couldn't be accommodated, and at the end of the day, we looked at it, and the team and I looked at it, and we certainly didn't want to, for any of these charities to be impacted on any decision made by professional golf. They still have to open their doors every day, as you know, and they still have families to take care of, and so, it was just a matter of we had to come up with something. We didn't have a lot of time, but I just wanted to make sure that they were not the ones impacted. And then if you know the model around the Price Cutter Charity Championship, there's so many ancillary events that surrounded the 4 days of professional play. And those are the events that, raised a substantial amount of the money. So, we kind of just, looked at each other and talked about it and had a few meetings that there's no reason that we can't continue on with obviously some kind of a modification. But we didn't have a lot of time, and we put the things together really quick. And we've already had our first event on June the 22nd. We kicked off this season with the Springfield Cardinals Classic and had a bunch of the players out. And they had a fun round of golf out of Millwood, and we raised money for the Cardinals Foundation, who does they spread a lot of that wealth with other charities and nonprofits in the area. So we're already off and running, but this coming Monday, it really ramps up, and we're so excited that the heat and the humidity decided to join us at about the same time.
Isn't that so fortuitous? It does happen.
Oh, I'm telling you, we were all excited, like, man, this is going to be a year to remember. And then now we're loading things up already. Last night you shedding pounds by the second, but it's all for the good cause.
Rob, with all the charities in mind and the good cause that you just mentioned, when the PGA announced their new plan, and certainly you have seen that, has that changed your thinking for the future?
It has. I've talked to them, I think, 3 times now in fairly recent time, touching base with each other and them wanting to know what my outlook is for the next 2 to 3 years, and what they've got available, where their interest is, and maybe those moons will align again. I don't know. As you guys know, and I mean, you've had a front seat for the 30 years that they've been around. It is a tremendous amount of work, but Springfield is a big golf community that enjoyed it. But again, there's no hidden agenda with me on this. As long as it aligns, and we still have some kind of a vehicle to support kind of the charities that we speak for, which are some of the smaller ones in the area that maybe some people have not heard of, but that doesn't make their work any less important. And so, if things align, so be it. And if they don't, but it is a major commitment to sign that line, as you guys know, and it's quite a production of things and resources that it takes to pull off such an event, and certainly how I'm built and the team's built. If we can't do it right, I don't want to do it at all, and so we'll see. But still have a really good relationship with them, and like I said, we're on a cadence of communication and checking in with each other back and forth, and they certainly like the Southwest Missouri area, and so we'll see what happens.
And with the news that they're going to split the PGA Tour basically into a Champions and a Challenger Championship and a Challenger Series. With everything being out there on the table, is there a chance that, yes, the Korn Ferry Tour might someday come back, but could a Challenger event maybe come here? Because, and that's which would be kind of what the Korn Ferry was, but also
Correct.
with the added bonus of more of the regular PGA Tour guys that will be playing on the Challenger trying to get back. Is that something that is potentially on the table?
It is. Like I said, the doors are still open now. The next hurdle to overcome that is where is it played, right? There's only certain courses that very few that can accommodate that kind of an event, as you know, and they were open to exploring, which is, surprised me a little bit, but they are open to looking at another area course if it fell inside all the required and the parameters, and we all live here. We all know what there's a few of those courses could be an option, but that definitely, if we decided to move forward, that definitely be the other second hurdle to overcome is finding that venue, getting everybody on board, and like I said, it's quite an animal to pull off, and but we'll see what happens. But to answer your question, is it a possibility? Absolutely.
In regards now to 2026, you have about how many more tournaments remaining? And I want you to talk a little bit about the Ultimate 2 that's coming up.
We've got, I believe it's 9 more golf tournaments coming up, and our next one is this coming Monday, right after we get through the holiday. We're at Millwood at Monday at 9:00 in the morning for the Justice Open that benefits Legal Services of Southern Missouri, and they provide they're a very unique organization that provides legal services to families in need of whatever situation they may be in, and they've done a lot of incredible work in the area. So that's a rebrand too. We've had their tournament in the past, but now this year it's called the Justice Open, and we've got a good field lined up for that for Monday morning at 9:00, and then, like I said, after Monday it really becomes a whirlwind of tournaments, kind of one after the other, and one of the new ones also this year is what we branded the Red, White, and Birdies, and this is a new tournament at River Cut, which River Cut's an absolutely outstanding local course, as you guys are well aware, and that's a veterans-based military veterans, and part of the proceeds on that are also going to the families of those fallen deputies that happened in Christian and Webster counties that we partnered up with them. And then the incredible organization of the Whetstones Boys Ranch, which is out in southeast Missouri that I've been to. They're going to have their boys up helping us work the tournament, and then they'll be allocated and earn some much needed proceeds for that, for the Boys Ranch as well. So helping several organizations just in that one tournament. We have a new Shriners Hospital Dads on the Ridge down at Buffalo Ridge on August the 3rd. That's a new tournament for us that benefits the Shriner Hospital Dads, which is an incredible organization. And we have a lot of ones that came back and a few that we added to the calendar to make sure that again, all of that our loyal partners were not impacted, and we found them some way to partner up, and they're excited, and like I said, we're almost off and running.
And you do have the Ultimate coming up next Friday night, on the 10th?
We do. I have those keys to your vet from that, Ned.
I've never won the doggone thing.
It is a beautiful 2026 torch red Corvette with black custom wheels. It's got torch red leather interior. And we will have it out front, warmed up and ready for you with the T-tops out of it, Ned, so you can take it for a spin.
What would you say if I was driving a red vet like that?
I'd just be worried your hairpiece would blow off if you got the T-tops out. So, Rob, one of the more unique events you have is returning, and it's next Thursday night out at Fremont Hills, the Nighttime Golf Classic. Kind of talk about that because, a lot of golf tournaments, a lot of them are kind of similar formats, but this one's different with the nighttime addition to it. Kind of talk about that a little bit.
It is. It's a really, really a fun tournament, and Ozarks Coca-Cola stepped up for me this year and became the presenting sponsor of that. But to your point, it's at Fremont Hills Country Club. You play 9 holes, normal 120-degree heat, humidity, and all that. And then you come into the clubhouse, we hydrate and feed everybody. And then while everybody's in there cooling off and enjoying an early dinner, the team is out setting up the next 9 holes of golf. And then once the sun goes down, we head back out, and it's literally 9 holes of glow-in-the-dark golf. It's extremely comical. You can imagine some of the funny things we've seen, and some of the funny things we've had to cover up when we find a golf cart and sitting in the middle of a bunker that they had no idea that was there, and they went flying.
That's Puryear's too, Rob, that you'll find out there.
Yeah. So, but it is, Scott. I'm glad you brought that up. So many different scramble formats, and everybody's got their little bit of a spin on it, but. This Nighttime Golf Classic is really neat. And then we also are partnering up on that with Dogwood Ranch and an extremely great organization just out east of town that they're going to have their people there and, working the tournament, greeting, doing registration, helping out with whatever they need. And that's kind of the new format that I created, that each individual tournament has their own charities there, and they're there to help do whatever's necessary, greet people as they come onto the green. They're out there going to pull the pin flag, Scott, as they approach the green. And then that allows them, what was important to me, to give them some face time with some of these corporate guys that have bought teams and all that, to introduce themselves and a little bit about the organization and why they're a partner. So I've allowed them to have this FaceTime, which they normally would have, and I think that's important for them to be able to tell their story. And then our large one of the year this year is our new one, and it's the SRC Corporate Cup Challenge out at Highland Springs, and that's going to be a really big one that has a traveling corporate cup with it, on which company ends up pulling the bragging rights out of that tournament. And that is the one tournament that we have, multiple charities working. They haven't assigned a number of holes. And again, my vision on that was, that we have all these companies that supported them, and now that gives them some face time, and also just a genuine thank you, obviously, for them being there, playing, being a part of Price Cutter Cares, being a partner, and ensuring that these people know where this money does go to.
Rob, before we let you go, one other one I wanted you to talk about a little bit on detail was the Women on the Fairways out at Millwood. That's an event you retained. And then lastly, how can people sign up? What's the easiest way for them to pick a tournament and pick which one they want to play in?
Well, the pricecuttercares.org, Scott, is the website. There's a sign up for every one of the, the series of events. They could obviously call out here to the Hall of Fame, and we're all here. We can take care of them that way if they want to go the old-fashioned way of the phone call. But Scott, I can't thank you guys enough. I mean, just the other day when you said you're always welcome, that really meant a lot to me, as you know, and we've been friends a long time. And I think this is the first time maybe I've been on your new format, and but obviously a huge fan. We know each other from Nixa on a personal level, and you've got an incredible family. And Ned is Ned. We all know who Ned is, and God love him. And
when Ned's gone, and we're just going to prop him up in the corner of the studio just to go ahead and carry on.
Well, just leave him in his Corvette. You can have it parked out front, and people walk by, and he'd be sitting in his Corvette.
That's right.
Damn right, and I'd go for that.
Hey, one other thing I do want to, because it's important, and you guys are the first we are going to issue a press release today that the Hall of Fame will be opening in July.
Okay.
The museum back open.
And downtown, right?
Yep, downtown at 433 West Walnut. You guys are the first to hear that. But Mr. Kerry Boer, that works for me, we are going to be sending that press release out, but the museum, after several years of being closed, will reopen in July.
Rob, just a yes or no. Are there still plans to move elsewhere and establish a permanent Hall of Fame?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. Rob, we always appreciate your time. Come on anytime. Let's talk about your charities, and best of luck to you.
Likewise. Thank you, gentlemen.
You bet. Thank you.
Rob Marsh, the Executive Director of Missouri Sports Hall of Fame and the Director of perhaps a future golf tournament. Timeout, back in a second. And we're in the stretch run of the first segment. Coming up in the next segment, what do we have?
We're going to talk to auto racing legend Ken Schrader here at 8 o'clock, talk about his career at 71 years old, still getting out there on the track and getting it done. That's kind of up at 8. And then at 8:30, Caden Wiest, the former Reed Spring High School football standout, now a key part of the Missouri State Bears defense for Coach Casey Woods this fall. Caden Wiest going to join us at 8:30.
We are a little bit beyond the halfway point numerically for the Major League Baseball season, but this is a critical time of the year. The All-Star break is the traditional halfway point, and where these teams stand, and we'll be reviewing all of that. The Cardinals play tonight, play the Atlanta Braves down at Truist Field. This will be the end of their series, and then opening up at Wrigley tomorrow.
And we'll catch up with Art Haynes. Art is back after his hiatus to go receive a Missouri Broadcaster of the Year award. Art joining us today at 8 o'clock. We'll get some details from Art, talk about his trip, and talk Major League Baseball and more.
And maybe a little bit of soccer as well.
Absolutely.
It's great having you with us on the starting lineup. Please, folks, don't go away. We'll take our mid-show timeout, and then the second segment is on the way.